So let's start. Today our last lesson, last lecture during my CP course, and well, it was an honor to speak to tell it with you for you because it's the first time that I try to connect all this idea to one course. I will ask you a feedback at the end, but now let's tell what we'll build today. Yesterday, we still shift from productivity to organization information, and I still doubt that it is only one of the topics inside the productivity system. And yesterday, I told you the idea of the custom, the idea of how you can work with nodes to think about them and to create new ideas based on them. And this technique is especially useful for you as researchers because research has some ideas. And I, Maxim, yeah, Maxim, yeah. So research have some ideas, but today we will go to more, well, at one hand more simple, but on the other hand it more general topic about some common ideas of organization of information. And this, as you can imagine, organization of information is very, very broad topic. So it will be foolish for me to say that I discovered it all and I understand everything in organization of information. But still, I hope I will give you a bit of another view of how to organize things. Especially, we will focus on your file system, but also it will be about, well, this idea is for Notion, for even for your things, for your code, and so on and so on. Yeah, let's start. Main idea is to one of these two. First, make the implicit explicit. Who knows Python? Who knows Python? Who reads the Zen of Python? You read. If you Zen of Python, if you Google it and you see some architecture patterns of upon which Python built in, there will be a line. Explicit is better than implicit. So by the way, if you're a programmer, it's just a good way, just a good architectural idea. So Google Zen of Python, and so this principle is close to this stuff. So make implicit explicit. What does it mean? In our hand, we have a lot of connections, and while we are working with information, we suppose this connection will be with us internal. But it is not. When we proceed information, when we stop working on project, when we just put it to our system of storage, all these connections become vanish and they expired. So the first idea is just to make them explicit, just to put them explicitly in the system. Anastasia Yagnuch, you're Yagnuch, yeah? Anastasia Yagnuch. Great. So, and the second thing is localized house. It is always when we work through all our systems. So it is often a case when we have a beautiful part of the systems that are structured very well, and we try to add something new, but we have not enough time. So we have to just somehow, and we add this house, and then if we add an house to an order, then everything becomes house. So localize it. I will show these ideas through the our course. Firstly, I want to review a bit of a system about organization. So organization information is just very well. It's a whole word that is not mentioned by all other people because they just don't think it. But still, there are a few concepts that may be interesting for you, so I'll mention it. First, that custom, we already are working with it at the previous lesson. It has atomic nodes, it works with intention motivation, it adds chains of thoughts, chains of reasoning, and it has some unique UIDs that we don't work with unique UIDs because we are in digital era, but previously, Anastasia, Nikiforov. But Origins of the customer has some unique identifier, and there was some idea besides them. It's quite interesting too. Evergreen nodes, it's somehow familiar to ZL custom. I mentioned just for you to Google it if you want. It again has no structure rules. The nodes are atomic, but the difference between ZL custom and evergreen nodes that even if in ZL custom the node writes once and then it remains constant, if you want to change, you just write another node. In evergreen node, you somehow grow it from a baby to adult node, and it's constantly grown. So this idea already in the digital era, because in the digital era it becomes possible. Linking and thinking is the very famous but really complex design, so I just can't get it. I tried a couple of times, but it's just over complicated for me. But still, there are it's similar to the custom again. It focuses on creating map of context, so topics, and these topics somehow make a digital visualized string. So when I tell about topics yesterday, it was from lead from linking and thinking. So this ideas was more or less similar to the custom. This ideas was more or less about thinking and not thinking. There are some ideas about not thinking, but by storing information. Maybe the famous one is para. It at the last summer, I think the author of the system produced a book and it was translated in Russian, so you can read it if you want. So para states that there are four well, categories. First is project, second is areas, and resources and archive. For example, project may be defend pages, launch a website, edit a video, or something like this. Area, is some hat you wear. In some cases, I am a son. In some cases, I'm a student. So it will be two different areas of my life. Resources is, well, something more generic, something you store from internet, something you download, and so on. And archive is, well, everything that is not relevant to first topic. So you finish a project, to put it in an archive. You make you was in the schools and you finish the schools and all of everything about school come to archive. And from time to time, the author of this idea says that we need to go to archive and find some interesting insights from there. Johnny Decimal, it's maybe the most, well, not trivial stuff, not trivial idea besides it. Johnny Decimal says that you need to create decimal system, for example, for category and group. It's something like this. And this is, in my case, this is, I think that it is not the great idea, but still, well, numbering sometimes help us to remember where we put it, and sometimes numbering help us just to go quick to this folder, because every time the number are constant, even if you name something, if you name the name. Yeah, and this was very quick idea of known system to organize information. So but today I want to tell you about some ideas that that I built for my own, and I hope that some of these things will be useful for you. First, well, all productivity is somehow about what I call centrifuge, about separating things, that you are not supposed to do everything on time, that you have a future, and you have in this future you can change, you can focus, and in this future you can make something that you can do now. And this was about how to deal with the task. So don't deal with the task in the time you arrive at, put it to inbox, and then proceed it. Well, exactly the same principle is can be turned to the organization of information. Maybe the task will be not to to run in the morning, but the task will be to organize your structure. So it can be separated too. And this is the idea of the system I will tell you today. Okay, let's have a look uh, at how it's implemented in my PC. Well, so I have some kinds of structure. Well, I have projects, resources, inbox, and temp file, temp folder. Projects are something that I work on. So, and you see some of them have indexing, some not. And all of this project, well, inside it maybe just a mess. Sometimes it is it's just a mess. It have some files and have some you have some audios and have some articles and so on and so forth. But all of them are pretty simple. They are not very complicated. Well, inbox is the same inbox as our inbox in productivity. Is just everything that uh, 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 I will proceed somewhere. For example, this is my D&D list. And resources are something that we are not working on. And somehow we transfer from project to inbox to resources. And you see that, for example, in projects, we have, well, what to show you. Well, for example, we have beta naming, and we have naming something like this, not just one name, but name with the dots. And also, for example, what we can have there, I will show something. From my grandparents, and I have such strange things as UID and something that show is that something is on disk to link that I have this file, but it is not there, it is on disk. And so this is the system I'm producing right now, and I will show what it is and how it works. But first, I'll, as always, I ask you to practice while the lesson, but the previous practice was about tasks that are in future. The previous task was about the Lucas and so a new system. But now I will ask you to practice with some of your own files that it is seems to be dangerous. I ask you still to practice, but just copy some things so you will be sure that after this lesson you can delete all the new folders you created during it and be sure that no one of your files can come wrong. But still, if you like the system, I hope that you will implement it in your daily basis. So today, now I'll ask you to create a few of folders. Please create it in the whole folder. So again, you can, if you want, after this lesson, you can delete it. There are just 1, 2, 3, 4 folders. Please open your laptops and create these folders somewhere. What's happening? I know that color that's or maybe it's talent show, maybe something is for talent show, but I don't know. Yeah. Okay, please open your laptops, and create these folders. And I'll tell what it is about and why it is will be interesting for you and how the ideas of previous lesson will lay out there. Again, if you have Mac, you may not have additional temp folder because Mac have its own one, but still, please create this 1, 2, 3, 4 folders and these 2 subfolders. And and then we will try to work with them. Again, be careful with your own files. If you and after, if I ask to modify something and you think that it is dangerous to a file, just copy it and be sure that this copy is for modification, and every other thing is, well, remain safe. So please create these folders. Mm. Can I do something like this? What do you think? No, I can't do something like this. And raise your hand when you are ready, so I will understand that you are. Okay, one person is ready. Really strange lighting, no. When you will ready, I'll remind you some ideas about how our memory work, and based on how memory work, we'll see some interesting patterns on organization of information. And, um, I hope that everything will be okay. Maybe besides lights, maybe lights will not okay. So are you ready? Who are still Who are still working? Who are still working? You are still working? Okay, 2 people. So let's give you additional 1 or 2 minutes. And by the way, while you are working today, I hope the lecture will be shorter, but after the lecture we will have some recap. And Edu office asked me to remind you about fulfill the feedback form. So I hope to be to end this lecture earlier, but we will have something after it. Okay, it's okay for you, Anastasia. It's okay for you. Let's go further. Okay, some principle about memories and about system of information. There were on slide yesterday, but yesterday we just rushed through, so it's I think you don't memorize them because our memory works well if you don't focus your attention on memory. It's one of the memory ideas. First, that what the ideal system is. The ideal system optimizes efforts and try to avoid irritation. So effort усилия, irritation it's just I remember. I forget what means irritation. Just boom. Раздражение. Yeah, irritation means раздражение. So вы оптимизируете усилия, избегаете раздражения от вашей системы, optimize efforts and avoid irritation. Efforts may be physical, I will today, yesterday, how many clicks, how much time to find, and mental, well, how long to remind. Categories must be homogeneous because memory works. If something is new in this category, you will forget about it. Structure must be flat. We don't focus on it yesterday, but it's really well. It was no so common for me idea, but so I focus your attention now for you because it is easy to create a very how it's called a very long tree that I will have for example and then it will be skull tech and life, and then it will be, for example, winter and autumn. So it's very simple to create such structure, but usually to look through by our eyes, even half a hundred folders is much more quicker than go to structure, understand that you are wrong, and go up and try to find it another way. So the structure is overrated, as well as goals and so on. Try to create structure flat, and also the division may be vertical and horizontal. So first we can divide by is it about physics or is it about techniques, but another way we can divide what we will do on it. So if we go, for example, on a plate, then there may be even geometry and physics and some marking in one idea. Okay, not that I'll tell that system must not irritate, не должна раздражать. And the main point of today's lecture, what we will fight on, that things that irritate us is the lack of control. What do you think about these questions? Are they somehow resonate with you? Or what do you think? Is it the case that you sometimes obtain, or is it okay? And if you don't understand well which version is in use, for example, it's just okay. Yeah, you all read it. Yeah, right. So, what do you think about these sources? What do you think? Please tell. Okay, who thinks that he has no problem with in his system is okay, and there is no problem with any of this? Okay, who struggle such problems from time to time? Please raise your hand. Okay, most of you. Then, well, I was afraid that this will be meaningless, but because all of you raise your hand, I hope that I'll tell you something interesting how to not struggle with these problems, because, well, there is a solution. The first solution is about dynamism. Make the system dynamic. here I tell that there are two kinds of efforts, physical and mental. And the point is, then different stages have different efforts. But you know, while you're working in some project, while you're working on it, you have a context in your head. And while the context in your head, you then don't forget anything, you know, about every file in the system. Because, well, you're just working it, you see it every day. But then the project comes over, you put it as it was in the moment it was you worked on, and then you will go to this project in half a year and you don't understand what to do. So different efforts for different stages. And the system I called the boring one because it's stay about homogeneously. I will tell later is this one. I ask you to think about your resources in these 5 categories: inbox, working on, significant projects, just in case, and deleted. And the separation is of your interest in it and of how often you're going on. Well, the main project, the main stuff in there. So for working on it, something that is on your head, that is inside, and that all context is known, and there is no problem with memory. So there is a problem on just in physical efforts. And this stuff is when you're not working on it often, but we have some memory problems because just we don't work with it often. Yeah, and these categories, well, sometimes it may be folder, but it's most cases is, you know, it's more about how you just think about some stuff. You can think that there is, well, this category, or there is that category. And, well, inbox, I think you're already familiar with in your productivity system. It's something that everything goes through. So inbox as a productivity system is about not making decision right now, and it must be proceeded, but you already know how, even if you don't have a habit yet. Working on is the category where you don't know anything about remind. You don't need to remind yourself because you already know it, but you need to optimize physical efforts, and to optimize it, you need a flat structure, and you need quick shortcuts. So all physical stuff is about this stuff. The main problem of this category is that it's somehow times outdated. Significant completing project is the problem that there are very many elements, but you're not used frequently. The main problem is how to remember them. And just as case is, we know it's just helper category if you think that you never will need it, but for some reasons, for example, you put too much efforts on this, so you don't want to delete it, you can use this category if you want, but it's not often case. Yeah, and then to delete, it's a category about, well, about deletion, about what to delete, what you will delete. And once again, let's go for each of this category more further and make some practice. So, well, maybe I'll write them down. I write them down. So inbox, we have inbox. We have, well, let's call it projects. We have resources. We have just in case, sometimes WinCave. And we have delete. Well, this is the same as, well, temp folder. Temp folder. So the first category is about stuff that you're working on. So think about your current project, maybe multiple current projects, maybe you have a bunch of them in your work and in your everyday life. So this is this. You, if you look at your resources, you see that you find everything about this category. You remember everything. The point is there, so just try based on what you do, and you do some project or some area. For example, what does it mean to make this vertical and flat structure? Not to put, in this category first universities, then Skoltech, then winter, then 2025, then generally just use, for example, ISP of productivity, just an upper level, just because there will not so many projects, actual projects that you will lose with them. There are always a few of them. I think. Well, in my case now it is. Let's see. In my case now I have 11. Yeah. So no need to structure it deeper. No need to simplify it to structure it on areas. Make structure flat and copy what you need from the sources, and it's okay to have pieces of information in different programs, because maybe something is in your IDE, something is in your GitHub, something is the cloud, something is center. It's okay. This is example of my work project. Naming doesn't important, but sometimes you can use digits just to sort. Again, because you're working on it every time, you remember the digit. Well, things I tell before may seems quite too broad and too obvious if you ever think about that you're working on. But maybe these two refactorings will be helpful for you. And the first example, the first factoring is just flatten. When you have a project, it is very common to put folder after folder after folder while project grows out. It all seems one folder for you. But this is overcomplicated. I mean, you can make project struct, you can make folder flat, and for example, you can use your master thesis and separate it to two different projects. First is bureaucracy, second is writing. And this is often the case. For example, I have our project I have in my lab. I have in different projects called that related to my code source, and different projects about how to how to send it to structures that will see it. And the second thing in Strapher is you just don't, if the project ends, you need to get those resources with some ideas I will tell you later. Now, I ask you to simple, I hope, practice. You have your project, folder. Think about actual projects. Who already have in your system some folders that dedicated to your current projects? Who have? I think at least half of you must have this. So the folder that is about your current project. Do you have it? One of you, two of you. So if you have it, you try to just copy it to your new project folder. If you are not having it, try to think what is the project in your head and create a folder for each project. Try to do it in your laptop, and then do the current stuff. So if you have multiple projects, create some marks. If you don't have projects, put all needed information from resources. So we just combine it, so it will be analyzed in one place for you. And if you have project, you can think about these two refactorings. See, is this project have too deep tree inside it? If it is, maybe try to separate two different projects. And if some project outdated, just mark it and prepare that it will be transferred to another stuff. So try it for now. The goal of this lecture is that you feel is it system, how the system feels to you, and to make it, to try it, you need to, well, practice and understand how it's for you. So if you have project, think about this refactoring. If you don't have project, then create folders and combine all the resources from different parts of your systems to this project. I will give you, well, let's have 6 minutes for this. If the task is unclear, then or the goal of this task is unclear, if you don't understand why I'm asking to do it for you, then ask and I'll try to tell you. Then now we're trying to just optimize your physical efforts. So if you work with some project often, then it's a good idea to combine all the information related to this project So how it's going? How many projects do you have? For example, how many projects? How? 3. Anastasia, what about you? How many projects do you have? 2. So how many projects? 2. And what about you? 2. What's about you? How many projects do you have? That's 3. So you see this the number of projects is very little. It's not worth the additional structure. It's not worth the additional structure. Uh, who struggle with combine to this from resources to this project? Who have struggled? So okay. Who already have some project and try flat refactoring, try to combine to make the structure inside project more flatter. So okay, well, we'll do the following. We'll have I'll give you, if I'll give you 5 additional minutes, it will be okay for you. You will work on the projects, okay, guys. So I will give you 5 additional minutes, and I will come from each of you to see what's happening and help with things that you're struggling with. Давай с тобой посмотрим, в чем у тебя проблема случилась.
Который я пытался.
Угу.
А потом забил и стал.
То есть у тебя один большой проект.
Да.
Угу.
А вот я сейчас подумал, как разбить вот сюда и добавить что-то новое.
Посмотри, когда у тебя один большой проект, скорее всего, часть из этих файлов это именно твои файлы, а часть это некоторая справочная информация. Да, тут есть, ты можешь видеть какие-то файлы, которые ты делал?
Ну, которые делал прям
Да.
конкретно я, наверное, вот только этот, где-то еще один такой, а все остальные это либо патенты, либо статьи.
Вот
Можно
тогда, да, тогда я бы тебе посоветовал для начала, собственно, разделить, грубо говоря, не твою работу и твою работу, а твою работу оставить в корне, а не твою, например, сделать наоборот от флаттенинг, сделать, как это называется, короче, создать папку, которая так, например, называется ресурсы, и туда пихнуть все справочный материал. И тогда тебе будет, поскольку ты всегда знаешь, когда ты заходишь в папку, вот ты находишься намерением либо поработать, либо почитать, либо что-нибудь сделать. И поэтому ты сразу же понимаешь, куда ты идешь, туда или туда. Вот так я тебе посоветовал. Потом, конечно, хорошо бы разобрать, но это, конечно, это сложно, для этого нужно время. А у тебя как? Это хороший вопрос. Это как раз то, о чем мы, с чего я начал, что когда у нас файл очень давно, мы совершенно не забываем, нужен он нам или нет. Вот. Да, но да, совет пока что, если вы не знаете, нужен вам файл или нет, попробуйте, по крайней мере, его переименовать, назовите его так, как вам кажется, чтобы вам в следующий раз не надо было смотреть его содержимое, чтобы понять, о чем он. И тогда на следующем этапе вы уже поймете, нужно вот про этот файл, на чем он. Ну вот, то есть наименование файла недостаточно, чтобы ты понял, о чем он. Попробуй наименовать его так, чтобы вот сразу возникала картинка. Это первый шаг, чтобы понять, нужен он или нет. У тебя как?
Сказать, что мне туда нужно по большей части
Угу. Угу.
образ,
Ну,
это, по-моему, не имеет.
ну да, в этом это не имеет, но смотри, добавляешь то, что с чем ты часто работаешь. Если у тебя есть отдельный кусок, ну, если у тебя есть проект, который ты все время смотришь, что в одном месте, то в другое, то в третье, чтобы это все объединить и все время открываешь то же самое, все время открываешь разных мест, то вот это есть смысл объединить просто, чтобы быстрее с ними работать. Если у тебя это не твой кейс, то тебе не нужно дополнительно, конечно, добавлять. Угу. Да, попробуй порефлексировать, пока, ну, собственно, когда будешь работать в реальном, in real life. Как у тебя? Мгм. 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 Они очень в маке полезные, да. Мгм. Мгм. Е- Мгм. Да. Мгм. Да. Ну, по сути дела, это некоторым образом та же самая идея,
Да.
только ты не физически меняешь, а тегом делаешь. Да. Мгм. Да, ну смотри, это вот что я тебе скажу на будущее. Пока ты студент, у меня была такая же структура, она меня полностью устраивала. А потом оказалось, что как бы границы расплываются, что у меня между от одного курса до другого как бы информация перетекает, и она сломалась. Если у тебя такая структура еще с тегами, и ты быстро к нему переходишь, то в целом пока она хороша. Но в какой-то момент просто знать, что есть альтернативы, и знать, что не обязательно это все продать вглубь, может проект создавать заново. Yusuf, how is your thing? How do you make these projects? One project, yeah. And you have multiple files and yeah, I see. Well, when you have multiple files, it's good stuff to separate the needed files and not needed ones. If you don't understand what is needed, what is not, what is not, try, maybe not now if you're afraid of your files, but future, try just to, well, put all the files in a folder called, for example, resources folder, for example, called archive. And then when you will remember, okay, I have a file, so it's there, and then you will return, you will put it from archive to your project. So this is the case when you have multiple files. Да, как?
Сложная какая-то, слишком большую задачу взял. Я решил на сроки
Мгм.
один проект.
Мгм.
Вот, и я прям, честно говоря, сейчас пытаюсь
Мгм.
разгадать, что мне вообще тут некоторые
Мгм. Вот смотри, когда у тебя, собственно, когда проблема с разгадыванием точки значит, это значит, кажется, у тебя, ну, грубо говоря, это не один проект тех терминов, которые я пытаюсь донести. То есть
Ну
у
да,
тебя
да.
нету общего понимания. Пытайся посмотреть те точки, которые ты помнишь, выделить их, те, которые ты помнишь, скорее всего, с ними ты сейчас работаешь. Подумай, не составляют ли они отдельную сущность. А все остальное, ну, пока что идейно это инбокс, который тебе надо разобрать. Вот, и, ну, его надо будет, да, его надо будет разбирать. Пока попробуй выделить то, что ты помнишь. Окей. Well, um, how is this task for you? How it is? Do you find some relief of setting these things up? So, do you need more time? Who thinks that he need more time to deal with his projects? Yeah, okay. Well, let's do this. Now it's 5 o'clock, so we will just have a break, 10 minutes break. So if you want to spend this break to deal with some files, you're up to it. If you want to go to relax, you're up to it. If you want to deal with files and have questions for me, you can go for me and I'll tell anything. 10 minutes break, we will start at 5 past 10. Настя, мы с тобой хотели поговорить, да? Okay, let's continue. So we practice a little bit on figure out our projects folder, on collect everything to our projects that are related to this. So uh, the next folder that we'll describe is inbox. It's the inbox, you know, it's a guard from inbox is a guard from a house, from the house that try to write up to your system. Because every time you put something new to your computer, every time you download something that is related to your projects, that related to your sources, but not every time you have enough thinking power to decide where is the right place to say a folder or to the folder or where to put this place. I think because download something is a fast thinking, but decide where to put it, it's often a slow thinking. So inbox is just to guard you about from this, and you put everything to your inbox, and once in a while you research it and proceed it and put the things where they need to be. Sometimes, well, everything only needs is inbox. If you have, you know, a tiny area or tiny project, you don't need to create additional structure. Uh, Folder named other is very good folder because every time you have something that is not matched to any category, for example, uh, for example, in my resources, I have this folder called other in English, if you spell in English, and you can see that I mark for myself that I need to see what is inside because, well, I don't understand where it is and I need to understand what is inside, so I help my future self. There is some example of my inbox, my inbox and folder, and there is an inbox of ideas that are in my Notion now. Because we will talk about ideas so far, but we don't talk what to do with these ideas. And these ideas, the thing that you may want to do or may not, some information you need to proceed. And there are some structured ideas, but they are arising every time. And I put everything that I don't structure yet to my inbox of ideas. So this is an interesting thing. Try to do it by yourself. Just in case, it's a well tricky folder. It's for those of you who are just afraid of deleting everything, so not you. But for me, I don't want to delete anything that is well not forced to be deleted. But it doesn't mean that I want to spoil this unuseful information with useful one. And well, everything that I maybe used sometimes, but maybe not. I put just under the bed in the garbage, but don't delete it. While the rational part of this is that bytes are cheap. If you all that you are that is remain from the project is, for example, several megabytes and maybe once in a life you will need it. Several megabytes is not such a big deal to stop and not to hold it. If you are not struggling with deleting things, you may just delete something. To delete, well, who have download folder full of some files that are just I don't understand what these files means download folder. Yeah, yeah. There will be there will be a quick practice. I don't put it there because I think it's just now. Find a few of the files that you from downloads that you want to delete and move them to temp folder. So you have some files that try, so just quick find a couple of them that you sure that you want to delete and move them to temp folder. I hope this technique will be loved by you because it's about deleting. So try to move to temp folder. And then when just delete all these files from temp. Just delete it. And in future, well, when you download file, usually I know is it just temporary file or it is existing for or it is for some purpose. Usually you know that okay, I download file just to look, and then I will never open it. Or you see that you download some file and it is related to your project and you will need to proceed it. So please just download the first category of files directly to temp folder, so you will know that this folder may be deleted. Well, another category is for inbox. So download is your inbox because everything that will be remain in downloads is the file that you decide that it's not to be deleted. So if you use Mac or Linux, you are a happy guy because in Mac or Linux there is a system temp folder. My temp folder, for example, is this one. So this is a system temp folder, and there are some system stuff, and this folder is cleaned up every time my computer is reboot. So if you use Windows, it's a bit more difficult for you, but still, at least I ask you not to struggle with decision, do I need this file or not, if you are downloaded with idea that you will not use it. Okay? If you're a programmer, I am even more. I will suggest you to write a script that will clear this temp folder from time to time, so you will not think about it completely. And practically, I don't download anything in download file. I download anything in temp file. The things I know that I'm just for download and to insert somewhere, and I will not use them somewhere else, or to inbox file if I know that I will need to find something with this. Okay, the temp file, temp folder, and resources. Well, the most complicated category because resources is everything that you're not working on, and there may be lots of files, and you don't remember about it because this is the point of the resources folder, and you need somehow to work with this memory to understand what to do with resources. Obviously, I can tell you from A to Z how to do it, but still I suggest you some ideas that may be useful for you. Again, about lack of control, it's all about when you not remember what to do with it. Because when you create this file, obviously in the time you create a file called document final version 2 updated, you understand what do you mean. You forget about it in, for example, in several days when you just put it there. So the whole idea of separating the category projects for working on from category resources is to allow you to name files like this in category when you're working on this project, and it must be renamed to put to internal storage. Some tips for resources: use flat structure again. This is a bit uncomplex. This is a bit how I tell uncommon thing, but still the structure is overrated. For example, I tell you the archive of my files of projects, and if I go to project archive, you will see that during the past year, I have a little more than 10 things that I say that this project. It is quite few, so even all these projects are not uh, don't push me to create a subfolders. So flat structure, deep structure is only if you're sure that you need it. Homogeneous rubrics is because everything we don't mind focus on it yesterday, but it was in presentation. When your rubric is not homogeneous, you just forget everything that is not in the core. So do you remember this example with human animals? If you put humans to, if you had some animals folder and you put humans there, then you will forget that they are that you put it there, even if formally they are human, they are animals. Tighten your context means that try to use as solid, as few context, as few folders as few rubrics as you can. Obviously, you can make only one rubric, but still not tenths of them. The fewer rubrics is better for you. Follow the question, principle, who are you gonna call? It's well, the rubrics must be somehow follow your thoughts of how you will fight it. Find it. For example, German asked me before lecture about thoughts that when sometimes he want to find everything that belongs to one book, and sometimes he will want to find everything that belongs to a rubric. And I tell that if you have both cases, then you need somehow how both of the structures. But the majority case, your thoughts is that it is a rubric and then topic. So the primary structure is about topic rubrics. Or another case, for example, do you know what regex means? Regular expressions. Do you know regular expressions? Yeah, you know regular expressions. Regular expressions is thing from programming that you match the uh, string with some pattern, and this is implemented in over every programming language, is in Bash, in Kotlin, in Python, in Java, in Haskell, and so on and so forth. So if you're thinking about if you code in one language and you think, well, I need regular expression, then your rubric must be, well, a regular expression. If you think, well, I need Kotlin, I need to find something in Kotlin, then it will be first Kotlin and then regular expression. So think about how you think about it. Well, it was quite complicated and not concrete. Sorry for it, but well, the second one, second one, next one is well about try to make all your resources be in very few places. Well, you know, while you're working, some of your resources are in Google Keep, some of the resources are in presentation, some of the resources are opened by, you know, for example, IDE. Some of the resources are opened by another online tool, so they are everywhere. They are in the tools that you are that is more convenient to you now. It is when you're working on, because you're not struggling to find where you put it. But if you when you finish the work, all these contexts are expired from your head, and then you will understand, well, is it on a file system, or is it on a Google Drive, or is it on the Yandex disk, or is it on something like something else? So try to make only one entry point, only one source of truth. For example, well, I have not one but three. I have all my thoughts are on Obsidian. All my notes that are not thoughts are in Toolcast in Notion, and all my files are in my file system. So if I work something with Google Disk, with Google Drive while creating this presentation, after this ISP course will over, I will download everything from Google Drive to store to my file system, not to think if they're in file system or in Google Drive. So this is a thing. and then make explicit implicit. We'll see how it works. Tips that you that sometimes you need to have links, and links may be just to say that there is some name, but if also you can make a link by create some unique files. It's better, it's quicker if you have command line tool and if you're a programmer, but still you can do it by your hand. For example, I have what when I can catch it. Mm-hmm. No, I will not get it there, I think, but because I don't remember where I have such. Oh, I know I have just. Uh, yeah. So I have such kind of file that is generated by my own bash script, but you can do it by yourself. And I know that I can link to this file. I know this link will be always the same. So this is the point that you have a link. And also you can have a README file. For example, this is a README file that help me to understand what is happening there. And you see, this I translated in English. So this was a night game in Calltech that I handle in 218, and there is a link to the next one. So even I forget where I saved the next one, I know exactly when I open one file where to go next. So this is how it's working. These README files are really the stuff that can help you to understand what files is. Or for example, um, I have where is my scripts files? Sorry, I'll find it because boom. Yeah. Sometimes I'll still working on the stuff. That's why it's not the done yet. But I am fine. What I am finding. I am finding scripts. Maybe there's a yeah. Sometimes it's still I'm still working on the system, so this time, and I have a lot of scripts that I create during my life, and there is just a thing that tell what I create. So I am not forced to go to each folder and understand what I want, where the script is. So things like this, they make your implicit ideas, the things that you have in your mind explicit, and store it for your storage. This is an example of resources. They have this example in about some other resources and some tips about naming. Mm. The These tips may be a bit too broad, but let me show you an example. I'll show, about this question. I use year in before. All my projects start with year when I finish it, but it is not out of the box. It's because I think about projects that I finished it in the year. That's why it's there. And the modulus of a thing, I think, is this refactor idea. First, refactor idea is that if you, resources are some broad category, and if you tired of using it because it's so deep, maybe you work on it too often, and it is not resources now. It is the stuff that you need to create a new project and work on this. So this one thing. Second thing is linking. Sometimes, even if we try most homogeneous and most ideal system as we like, we want sometimes still some pieces of information are missed, And you remember that is from one of the slides that we hate lack of control. We hate when we find something, but we need to find additional information and we don't understand where it is because, well, we are already in the project and we already don't understand where to go next. Then some kinds of linking will be your choice. So, for example, you see in for Night of War Games in Scholarship, I have a link to another Night of War Games, and I don't need to create this finding procedure again. And the next way, maybe the interesting one, if you forget about something important in the folder, this is not right place to the folder. Let me give you an example. I I finished my thesis, and well, yeah, I finished my thesis, and in the thesis there are huge bureaucracy part and huge part of creating stuff, creating articles, and a huge part of making the materials. Uh, I remember that I store the materials and the code in this folder, but I don't remember that I store the bureaucracy there too. So if it's your case, then you need somehow to help yourself. What to do with this? First, you need what may move to the separate folder. Second, you can move it to other, and then you can rename folder to point that there is some additional information you forget about it. So the ultimate idea of all your resources is this one. When you go to resource, you need to have some picture of what is inside. So if there is some details, you need to highlight these details. Besides this, you forget it. If there is some unrelated stuff, you need to move it somewhere else because otherwise you forget it. So every time you name a resource, every time you put something inside it, you need to ask yourself, is there a picture of everything inside deeper structure? For example, well, for the ICP course, I have a folder called alt, and now I know that this is presentation versions, but in half a year, I will totally forget that this presentation versions. I will need to go to this folder and re-understand it. But so I will rename it like this, and I understand that this, well, now it is, I understand where it is. Or I work in summer camp, but summer camp is, well, a broad topic. So I rename the folder summer camp about summer camp counselorship to two ones. First is just plans of concrete shifts, concrete time when I meet with children, and another is about games. It's something that I will use forever. So now I don't have an image what is located in this folder, but I have images what's located in this folder and in this folder. This is the case. And also, let's focus about just a moment. Let's focus about transferring between resources and working on project. At start, you start to work on some project, and and you collect it from multiple resources because, well, resources are well organized, well structured. You need to remember where they are, but resources are not for for everyday work. So you put it some project, and then you work on project, and then one day you understand that this project is over, and this is a good ending point because you understand, okay, this is done, and now it is just will store for later. And what are you doing? You while you still have this all the context in your head, while your project is done, but context in your head are still there. You try to rename file to make them suit this stuff. You delete the files you don't want to store. You transfer the part of information to resources if you understand that it's a separate resource. You add some description as you see for Night of War Games. I add the description where it takes, and what is the next source. You connect if some related at the links, and this all may go through inbox. And so yes, there is more refactoring. Let's practice a little bit. Let's practice a little bit, and we'll after practice we'll go to the end. I think, yeah, yeah. Let's practice a little bit. What I asked you to do is to find where you store your resources. This is the most general folder in your. Yeah, I'm thinking about. Oh no, we will have a few more slides, but still, it is we are on time. Uh, Try to identify what is resources in your system. Your file system may be organized by different way, but see what is the resources and try to reflect on what rubric do you have, and try to make the refactorings I mentioned before. Now I will give you, I'll give you 7 minutes to make it, to do it by your own, and then we will have additional time when I will try to go and help you with your ideas if you have one. So now try to identify resources in your folder and create rubrics and think about these refactorings. If you have questions, then I can try to explain in your example. Вам помочь? Hmm? Well, try to deal with resources. Try to think what categories are in your resource, and try. You find a folder, you go through it, and then see is it what you expect in this folder. If not, refactor it. If yes, that's okay. Go to another folder. So if you have resources, just go for the folder, open it inside, and see is it what I expected. If you have this amazing thing, the thing, oh, I don't expect this stuff here, then refactor it somewhere, or by renaming, or by put it to another folder, or by put it to the other, or to add links. This is the idea today. Now, if you find something interesting, if you don't expect a file there, that it's not the place where it belongs. Try to find a different place, or if you don't know what it is, try to put it to some category called other, and try to rename it to if you don't understand what is content of this file. And this is what you do. By the way, about renaming. Uh, uh, I visit course on group theory, and I have first a node called homogeneous of groups. But then I understand that I will forget what's homogeneously of groups in the next day after, because, well, it's a new term for me. So I renamed my node to make it that homogeneous group is some transformation between the groups that respect the group operation. And now it somehow makes sense for me. So it is not objectively of idea. It's idea for just for myself. So try to do something like this for your notes, for your files. Also, even if it sounds a bit ugly, yeah, it sounds a bit uncomfortable that I have this notation with two dots and so on, but it's working for me. Okay, so 7 minutes pass. How it is? How it's resources for you? How it's going? How it's clean? Do you have some common questions? Okay, then I'll give you another time. Let's say another 7 minutes, and I'll go from you to see how it's and answer questions if they appears. Let's start now from this theme. Как у тебя?
Много файлов. Сейчас примерно email занимаюсь.
Мгм. Ну, это, да, это такая работа в основном методическая. Идея рефакторинга в том, что ты можешь ренеймить, а потом понять, что ты ренеймит неправильно, и занимать, куда его исправить. Да, да, ты, ну, не только что ты там возвращаешься там через 2 месяца, и такой, блин, а что я так назвал? А что же внутри? И значит, понимаешь, что в тот ренейминг был не до конца полный, и ты его немножко меняешь. Yeah, well, how is you?
I have a lot of resources folders.
Yeah, so this is a common name. You can name your folder something NQ if it help you. So how is this renaming procedure, refactoring procedure? Is it okay for you?
Resources folder.
Well,
I can move it so that I
yeah,
open
but
one folder.
well, technically yes, but mentally, well, what is? Can you a bit light it up? So these resources, yeah, I think this is a technical files. So yeah, you see, it's Anaconda. Yeah, it's technical files, so it's better not to move them. Better work to your files that created by your own. So leave these resources as and see where are some files that you created or you download by your own and you don't understand what is them about. For example, for example, go to your project and see what files are there, and if you see the naming and you don't, for example, you see this naming, if you don't understand what is inside there, then you need to rename it. If you completely understand what is inside there, then it's okay. Я как?
У меня какие-то мусорки на компьютере, я по названию понимаю, что там мусор.
Тогда, собственно, это надо удалять, если это мусор. Мгм. То есть что-то из этого может быть, конечно, не мусор. Ну, вот как они произошли? Ты в какой-то момент, у тебя, поскольку нет инбокса, ты такой думаешь, что надо куда-то кинуть, не знаешь куда, и кидаешь хотя бы сюда. Вот если у тебя есть инбокс, то ты понимаешь, что вот сначала это инбокс, потом ты разбираешь.
Ну, просто я не знаю. Это вообще никуда особо не отнесешь.
Ну,
Может удалить, может оно мне когда-то
ну,
пригодится.
смотри, если ты не знаешь, что она пригодится или нет, то что бы я посоветовал? Я посоветовал, ну, потратить настолько много сил, сколько ты считаешь целесообразно. Это зависит от твоего морального состояния, того, сколько у тебя файлов и так далее, чтобы понять, что там такое, сделать самый, ну, сделать хотя бы часть работы, а потом вот кинуть их вот папку, которую я говорил, что она так кому-то нужна, кому-то нет, который just in case, где ты будешь знать, что вот, если вдруг мне когда-нибудь пригодится, то она вот там. Но в целом ты туда не смотришь, потому что типа, просто, ну, э, они тебе не нужны для того, чтобы посмотреть, что они есть. Они тебе нужны только если ты такой вспоминаешь, что вот они где-то были, тогда ты смотришь, что они вот там. Так, попробуй их хотя бы какое-то время, какое-то усилие приложить, чтобы их номиновать нормально, и вот закинь куда-нибудь. Это в чулан такой получается. Чулан, который ты, может, не посмотришь, но байты дешевые. Если это твой случай, то как у вас?
Можно еще удалять
Это правильно.
Я тоже такое количество мусора.
Ой, ну, слушайте, удачи удалять. Удалять это очень удобно. By the way, about deleting stuff, sometimes when I don't know do I need the stuff now or not, but if I'm sure that yeah, in the year I will not need it, I put these folders to something like this. I'll show you. I'll put the folders to stuff that called delete lately and have the date. I know that by this date I will not need it and I can delete it. Even if now I'm not sure, maybe now it is current for some current idea, so I share these things for some people. But you can say your future self that you don't need it, these files due this time, even if you forget what these files are. This is one of the tips. Okay, the time is up. How it was for you? Do you have some questions, some understanding what to do? So it's okay for you? Yeah, that's my answer. By the way, why I'm asking what do you need? Do you have some understanding? Because, well, the whole idea of this lecture to give you some algorithm, and if you have some algorithm, you know what to do, and if you know what to do, it becomes easy to do it, and you understand, and you will start to do it. It's well, maybe one of the best the ideas of whole course. If you decide what to do, if you know the algorithm, then everything become much more easier. Yes, practice, a bit of theory at the end, how I can sure to find it if I need it. Well, going to the very, very deep of memorizing and habit creation, for every resource you have, well, two idea, or you just remember it by spontaneous think, or you have a search, something like this. So, guys, please on me. I hope that you will continue this procedure at home, but then I have few material at the end. So if you have a big rubrics and they're huge, use a methodological search. For example, you know that you already done something like this and you have a project rubrics, then use methodological search. But sometimes your rubrics is too smart, and then, well, uh, you need to just remember the and why I'm talking about this, because this is the case when you just start your system, and this is the case when the system is already well mature. If you follow the ideas I told today, for example, create an archive of projects folder, then at first there will be one archive of project, second then will two, three, and so on. Only in a year it may be 10 or 20, but still it will be not enough to prove yourself that you don't remember it. And if it is the case, go to the left side and then just focus on your memory. And if you have a more bigger structure, then focus on search. And some specifics from this view theory to specifics. If you use programming, you obviously know about Git. But when you archive project, when the project is done, maybe a good idea to create a zip archive from Git, because you know Git have a lot of small files, and it just slow down every copy from disk to disk. So it's useful to archive this uh, folder. Also, if you use programming, some generated files, if you have files that generated and this generation is produce a huge file just by its size, you may delete this file because you can regenerate it every time you need. If you use clouds, obviously, I think you use clouds. It's good folders for share. That I so save this file that I share forever, and the folder I mentioned. If I share something to limited time, I have folder like this with time when I will delete it. And when I share these files, I tell people that they will available till someday. About Telegram and something like and YouTube and something like this, a good idea again to separate by your interest. So the whole idea why I name this system a boring system, because it's try to make everything homogeneous, so nothing of this will pay additional interest value inside. So if it's your case when you I read some information channels. I remember one of you say that you want to create a habit of reading information channels, then just combine it to a separate folder. And for example, and also I have important folder because I want again separated by my interest. Ideas may be split by frequent and rare. That's how you proceed this idea. If you have a lot of ideas, some of them are just for proceed, for example, 1 week, and for some of them, for example, 1.5 months. And idea about media. If in your case, I told about that system must follow the rules and they follow the questions, and this is the sequence of this idea. For example, for my case, I don't interested in do I need to read book to find some interesting information, or do I need to go to online course? So in my case, the separation is not book or course and then read and read. In my case, it's read and read and then fiction or fiction and then work course. So sometimes think about reversing the order. If in your case everything you left from the course or the book is some conspect, that is no matter for you is it was a book or a course. It's matter, do you read it, do you proceed it or not? And at the very end of this presentation about house cleaning, You know, I'm an expert there. It's my room at the time before ago. Uh, well, uh, a few words about house cleaning because well, a lot of things are just transfer from information to house cleaning. First, cleaning is a lot of time about finding an efficient place for your future self. So again, the idea is simplify your life, your future life. Do something nice, simplify your life in future. Then the cleaning is often about this stuff, figure out where to put what, physically put it, and throw what need to be thrown. Why it is, why I separate this stuff? Because well, this is slow thinking, this is fast thinking. It is the same as when you do the stuff and think where to do the stuff. So the for house cleaning may have its physical inbox. If you clean, for example, a table and you clean, and there are one thing that you don't want need where that you don't know where to put it, you put it to inbox and then just continue cleaning, not stopping in it, not further on this one idea, on this one thing that you are not don't know what to do. And about throw out, because we just don't uh, throw something out physically, it's well hard, so we need to focus on it. Uh, yeah. And so there is a physical inbox when you house clean. You may use some quick access for something you need. For example, you know, I have all my medicals are in one place, but a few of them are in quick access. So if I have something most common, I will not go to the entire storage. I will have to some well cache. Well, from away, we need to fight loss observation, эффект непринятия потерь. And this is the same way as we were mentioning when we were talking about goal settings. Well, now we will have 10 minutes break and we will go to the end. It's particularly the end, but still I have about half an hour stuff to talk with you. So now it's 10 minutes break and then we will return and slowly going to the uh, finish of our course. 10 minutes break. Okay, so let's continue. And we are slowly going to the end. First, bibliography of today's lecture. Well, maybe the one book that I can suggest to build a second brain. It's a little bit full of water, but still it's first it's translated in Russian if you are speaking Russian. Second, it has a lot of ideas that are related to whole the course. So it's not only about organizing notes, but also about procedure information, about saving, and about creating idea, and so on and so forth. But and also the system, as I told you, was based on Para, but well, the ideas is my own, so they are not somewhere in the book. Home task is just to proceed some thoughts, and how complicated things is well that we're not talking about rubrication. Now, I will ask you to spend uh, uh, 2 minutes or so, something like this, by feedback form. So feedback form, it's really quick. So please spend a few time and give me a feedback that I put to a Telegram. So in Telegram there is feedback form. I think it's 1 minute, something like this. So it's really quick, and I hope that it's fast thinking. Please go to Telegram and try to fill the feedback form. I hope it will be quick for you. When you're done with feedback, please somehow mark me this so I will know. Okay, you're done. Okay, but you can't be sure that you will stick. Yeah, yeah, maybe. But I hope you get the point. I hope you get the point. So when you will finish, somehow tell me that you are finished. Um, Also, we have more complicated feedback from home education and waiting for you, but now it's just quick feedback for me that okay. So we are waiting for 3 people. You're done? Yeah. Yeah, 2 people. You're done? Okay. Artyom, you're done? Uh, uh, oh no, it's a bit later. But you need to do it, but not now. Okay, so the quick form is done by everyone. Thank you, and a small recap at the end, and then yeah, and what is thank you. At first, there now during our course is well productivity and organization for life and academia, and during this course we have 3 connected to each other topics. We start with habits. We have BJ-Fogg behavior model, which is based on everything else. We talk about triggers. We talk about the idea of simplification action. We talk about creating habits, getting rid, and so on. In productivity, then we switch to productivity. We talk first about some psychological text. Uh, then we talk that the start and continue of doing something is different well ideas beside them. We talk about different techniques. We talk especially about GTD, and then about planning, goal settings, and levels on productivity and next actions ideas. The organization information was the last 2 lectures: Obsidian, uh, internal motivation with the Telcaston as technique, and some fundamental. Uh, we have a lot of ideas during this course. Uh, we have ideas that come from psychology, behavioral model, external and internal motivation. Let me focus your attention on something that we was not focusing during the time. This one, procrastination is often about lack of control. This time is the second one, and this time. First, I sent you about procrastination, this deep, big uh, scheme, and there was such kind of thing, and you can feel about yourself that when you don't understand what to do and you have this lack of control, you procrastinate more. And the another stuff, why we are why this productivity works, why making simplify actions work, because when you focus on the some things that you can do, you struggle, you procrastinate. But if you focus on why you can do it, it's become not struggling, it become just a task for you. So if you move your focusing from the things that you don't understand to do to why you don't understand it and how to understand, it's become much more simpler. So make this one. So preparation, activate motivation, exchange for willpower to another was vast idea, and all of this we also mentioned. We use some technique. We find how to find triggers, how to simplify actions. Um, and that action you need to make the decision and make it cognitive ease. We told a little bit that it is well quite complicated idea and need a skill. You remember the example about writing to two peoples. For one person, it will be okay for me just to write, but for another, it was not okay because it was another person. So one action, but one of this is easy for me, cognitive is, another is not cognitive is. And this stuff I add by after I assign all your home tasks today. Well, two of you have well oversimplification. For example, that you need to read a book, as you just first action is to open it, and it is good simplification for a habit, because if your habit is about if you stop habit with opening the book, then it will be easier for you to return to reading. But it is not so good simplification for well to-do list, because well action need not be just simple. It not somehow leads you to the goal, and somehow you must feel that it is worth it. And if your task is to read an article and your next action is just to open it, you will thought for yourself that the hardest part is on the future. That after the opening, the task is not done. That you will that the hardest things is in the future, and you will struggle with opening. So the good first action is somehow deal with it. For example, to read the article, it's well to see the pictures, for example, something like this. Also, we think about the mindful triggers, about similar stuff, about using inbox, about saving. So this is all that we was practicing. Well, the mind shift or reframing may be the most important ideas of all productivity, because, well, techniques are okay, but if your minds are the same, if you think that you need to blame yourself and you need to be very strict for yourself, that nothing works. So don't blame yourself. Use tiny actions and see that it's leads to a goal. Even if you just go to a gym and return back, it's okay for habit. You're still the good man. Where you alter again, not try to push yourself so hard. If something wrong, try to rethink, try to make it well, feels like a flow. Don't love failures. It means that uh, if your system is too rigid and uh, you can fail lots of times, that it will not be working, because well every fail we demotivate us much more than any motivation of any positive motivation. So and from this it leads that goal settings and task of the day bad ideas from the start, because you just don't know yourself. If you know yourself, and if you know that usually my tasks for the day is this one, it's okay to create a plan of the day. But while you're starting productivity, uh, try to make something that will not fail. And also centrifuge, it's okay not to do stuff on time, you can save it for later. Future of the course. ISP is over. It's over today. In 3 weeks, I will make somehow. I will somehow ask you again the formats that you mentioned that you feel now. Well, will be about how it's going. Now I ask, will you try to implement? In 3 weeks, it will be so. Do you succeed? Do you fail? Do you have some questions about this idea? Do you have about the system? Do you have some new thoughts and so on and so forth? In a month, as I tell you in the first lecture, for those of you who are interested, I will do well aftercare in forms that depends on us. So I will ask if you want to come back to meet and discuss new insights, new ideas, or new problems that you struggle and what you want to answer to have answer on. So this will be in a month, but still you will have even if it and in a trigger. So I suppose that this trigger will leads you to thinking, but still anytime you can share questions and victories and defeats, and I will help you as far as I want, as I can, as I can. For you, now you are at level 1 state, so now you are trying the procedure of just answering people and do it through inbox and planning by proto planning, answering people while proceeding inbox. Stay at this for a little bit, then try to go to level 2 to slowly implement more habits about processing everything in inbox and to provide some references. Well, and I suggest to go to level 3 not before half of the year. So just master the level 2. It must be really your habits. And also I want to ask you, there are a few of you fewer than I expect. At the first lesson I asked, do anyone of you want to have buddy? Now I want to return. Please raise your hand if any of you decide that you need buddy for this rest time to help each other. So do any of you need buddy? So no newcomers. Well, that's okay. That's okay. It's okay to make it yourself. But if you're really interested, then you can ask. And now I remind you about the course version from the canvas. So please, you can do it. And I ask you to subscribe to my channel. This one, and this makes the course over. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for these wonderful 5 days. And I hope that these 5 days, these 15 hours worth it, and you will try to implement system. And of course, it's just the beginning of your productivity. There are so much things that you can reflect on and so much things that you can done in your life after. So thank you for these days. Yeah. Now evaluation form from the education.